Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott wave update for MAV. Now this is another coin in potential price discovery, which we've discussed many times. We either expect it to break out pretty aggressively to the upside or be stuck in a range for a very long period of time, making a series of threes. So we're running out of time for this to become impulsive. We have maybe one more move to the downside before I would change my bias to a range. But the potential upside is very positive. If we end up trending from here, just the 1.618 extension of this one off wave 2 as labeled is, 500% plus. So what you tend to see on these newer coins when we grind up to price discovery, ignore this candle. This one's just on MEXC. I didn't see this on other exchanges, but we get a lot of chop like so, which I anticipate is most likely a diagonal if this plays out. We then had a WXY as our correction. It's the best fit I see for it. And we either reverse from here and start trending, or we make something more complex and we come down for one more, come between the 50, 382 and the 50, but hold above the 618 at 3.339 cents before moving to the upside. Hard to say which, hard to pull time fibs off this, because it's so complex. Could have gotten a truncation here because it's so close to the previous low, so I'm not relying on time fibs for this one. But we're at the area where it looks correct for a correction to be complete. And like I mentioned, alternatively, worst case, we'd see one more push down, like so, before attempting a reversal. And if we don't hold that level above the 618, I would consider it, okay, we're probably trending in threes. And unfortunately, it wasn't able to keep up with the rest of the market. So currently in a long on this one, and I'll show you the micro counts here. But again, eventually upsides are pretty high if it plays out, and in price discovery, there is possibility of extensions. So when I see these setups and we are consolidating at previous highs, I always take those. Just a standard impulse would get us up, between 728 and 1227, just a standard impulse. So the upside is there. So we'll go down to the smaller time frames. Remember, this is a 333 WXY as labeled. But what's nice about this one compared to other ones is I have an actual diagonal filled out here. Ideally, we get more contraction, and I would have liked to see our fifth spike on the trend line. But besides the point, we do have a series of threes to the upside in what appears to be 5 waves. I've mentioned before, these can get relabeled as WXYs. That's the problem with diagonals, because they do fit both scenarios properly. But what I look like is where we are in the potential trend to give me a bias, right? We're potentially complete and going to price discovery. So it makes more sense to be a diagonal currently. And if we do fail, again, looking for that lower time frame, that larger time frame between the 382 and the 50. So I would just expect another 3-wave move down to this area, and that would be my last attempt past the 0.618. So I took buys here at the 382. I have a buy at the 50, and my stop on this one is at the 0.7, just past the 0.618, before I'm likely to change my outlook that we need this other move to the downside. I'm being a little tighter on this one just to get position size, but the absolute invalidation is at this low of the diagonal at 47.21 cents. That's the invalidation level. Now, if you're a newer trader not paying attention, I usually suggest on diagonals past the 786, so around 5 cents. If you're more active, you can be a little tighter with it. I'm a little more aggressive because I prefer position size over winning percentage, right? Obviously, if you put it past the 786, I can get stopped out at the 70, you hold, and then we reject. I'm okay with that because I'm watching these areas and I'm easily able to get in. If we make like a V cut, V bottom, I can get in this area and re-enter. So no right answer. There's just pros and cons of each way you choose to trade. I will make more on a successful trade, but you will win more often because I will get stopped out where you don't. So that's kind of the scenarios there. Now I would expect this to take a little more time. Again, I can put our time guidelines on. Right on there. So it could take us into Sunday, March 17th, somewhere in this area. So we might just make a series of threes as a WXY, come down to our zone, then pivot. But nothing says we have to do that. That's just guidelines. We can pivot from here as well. But looks good. That's my plan. 2 entry areas for this to play out. Hold this pivot low, or if that was a WXY, come down for another 3, buy in this zone, stop below the 618, looking for that 500% move. So we'll see what we get, guys, but this one looks pretty good. Again, tough counts, but I've seen these over and over in new projects. We either take off price discovery, etc., or we reject, break that 618, and just trend in threes until we finally break out way down in the future. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.